Hi, authors. Today's topic is outlining. Should I outline? How do I outline? What are the different types of outlinings that you can do? First and foremost, should I outline? That's probably the biggest question. That really depends on the author. Some authors prefer to just kind of brainstorm a little bit and then dive directly into the story and then maybe outline later on if they feel like they're getting stuck. Some authors prefer to just freely write the entire time, and then some authors prefer to use one or more of the various outlining strategies that exist. So, what are the outlining strategies that actually exist, and which ones work best for me is what some authors will probably ask next. There's a bunch of different ways that you can outline, but one way that you can outline is just by having a rough sketch of the story overall. So, like having a rough sketch of where you want the story to start, a rough sketch of the climactic point or points, and then a rough sketch of the ending. And then from there, just start writing. That's the most easy form of outlining, just having a rough sketch of each one, even if it's just like a description of a scene for the beginning, middle, and end, and then just start writing from there. The next one is a little bit more in depth. So having more of like a scene by scene outline or a chapter by chapter outline where you know how many chapters you want in a book, you know how many words you want the book to be projected to be at. Like if you want a 30,000 word book or a 50,000 word book, etc., etc., you'll have the number of chapters, and then you'll write out like a very short description of what you expect to happen during each chapter of that book. Now, your descriptions could be extensive, meaning that you expect this person to walk into the room, and then by the time the scene ends, this is going to happen. Or it could be like so and so gets hit by a car. Next scene, so and so is in the hospital. Next scene. So it could be like very, very short descriptions of what happens in each chapter, or it could be very, very detailed descriptions of what happens in each chapter. And then the third one is even more in depth, and that's when you literally pinpoint what happens in every single scene of the book. So you're not actually writing the book, but you're writing out in specific detail what happens in every single scene of the book, so that from the beginning to the end, you know exactly what's going to happen, even down to like specific dialogue that is going to happen in those different scenes. As you can imagine, the more complex you get with it and the more specific you get with it, the easier it might be to write your book, because if you already pretty much wrote the book by doing the most specific one, then all you got to do is just plug it in and just write it. Um, if you had the more rough versions where you just have like a basic beginning, basic middle, basic ending, it might be a little bit harder for you if you're the kind of author who needs more structure. So it really depends on the author, it depends on the book, but outlining in and of itself could be a very helpful and effective tool. One thing I will say that's kind of a caveat to this is that sometimes when you're outlining, you might have an idea in your mind for how you want a story to go, but even if you have the most specific detailed outline that you could possibly make, where every single scene, all the intricacies are fully mapped out, you can come across a story that you have outlined in this way, and the characters might start to take you in another direction. If that happens, it's fine. You can still save the rest and use it for a different story, and then just start fresh with these characters in this story and go where they're leading you. The outline in and of itself is more so a tool for the writer, not something that is used to constrain the writer, if that makes sense. So that don't let the outline be something that you feel like a slave to. It's more so something that is to guide you and help you on your journey and where you felt like the characters were leading you, but they can always end up leading you in a different way. So hopefully that helped. If you want to talk more about outlining, comment below and we'll talk more.